Hi, everyone. My name is Hashim Kumar. I'm the director at Western Fertility Institute. We are located in Los Angeles, California. We are a full-service IVF clinic. We provide all aspects of care, including the medical, the egg donor, and the surrogacy. We do PGS testing on all of our embryos. We have very good success rates, but I think what I'm most proud of is the service that we offer. What I wanted to do was to try to give you a model of your experience at the clinic and then open it up to questions. So the way that we created the experience was we thought about how we would like to be treated and then created a model to fit that. So what happens is that every patient or every client that comes to the clinic gets assigned a third-party coordinator, and she is like your concierge. And it's her job to be with you for the entire path, from the first appointment all the way through the delivery to when you get your passport and are on the way home. So with the third-party coordinator, we will do a consultation that could either be in person or on WeChat. And during that consultation, we want to be able to go through your medical history, but most importantly, determine what your desires are. What kind of donor are you looking for? What do you want in a surrogate? Do you want to have one baby or two, boys or girls? All of those are your decisions to make. It is our duty to inform you of the risks and benefits of your various options, but we do want to listen to you and do what's right for you rather than what's right for the clinic. So after that consultation, we will determine when it's convenient for you to come to Los Angeles, or if you cannot make it to Los Angeles, we'll figure out a way to where we can get the sperm, blood work, and the genetic testing done locally and have the appropriate bodily fluids shipped to Los Angeles. So then once we find the right egg donor, and again, we, as your medical team, are responsible for screening your donor. It's your responsibility to tell us what's right for you in terms of height, weight, eye color, education. But it's my responsibility to make sure your donor has good reproductive potential, that we will get many eggs and many good quality embryos. And that's what I do for each one of my clients. Once we have the embryos made, then we will start to look for a surrogate. And the reason we do that is that if we find a surrogate before we even have embryos, we then start spending a lot of money to maintain the surrogate without any additional benefit. So at any given time, we probably have about 80 plus donors in our donor pool. Plus, we work with agencies from all over the planet to find the right donor for you. When the embryo is made, we grow all of our embryos to the day 5, day 6 stage called blastocyst. And then the embryos go through PGS testing. So our embryologists test thousands of embryos every year. They're very adept and expert at testing the embryos, so they do not go through harm. After the PGS biopsy, we freeze the embryos. And then you will get an email that says how many normal boys and girl embryos you have, and then we can have a consultation over the phone or in person to go over that, the results, and determine what you would like to transfer. So then you will tell us what you would like in your surrogate. How old? Do you want her to have had one child, 2 children? Her location. Most of our surrogates are in California, but we do have surrogates elsewhere. California is the most surrogacy-friendly state in the United States. So once we find the right surrogate candidate for you, then you will have a panel of about 10 different lawyers who you can choose from. So you'll have 3 lawyers. One lawyer will represent you, The second will represent the surrogate, and the third will manage your escrow account. So all of your funds are held in a safe escrow account, which is managed by a lawyer whose duty it is to carry out your wishes or what your legal contracts state. So then the embryo transfer occurs on the date that we schedule it. Your third-party representative will be in the transfer room, and either we can go live on FaceTime or WeChat, or we can record the transfer and email it to you. Then we continue to monitor the surrogate for the first trimester, for the first 11 or 12 weeks. Every time we do an ultrasound, which will be for the first heartbeat, and we will see the baby moving around 10, 11 weeks, we record each and every ultrasound, and we email it to you so you can be part of the process, so you feel like you're there. And then we will continue to monitor the surrogate all the way through the remainder of the pregnancy. We will be in the delivery room with you. We will make sure that you get to be a part of the process. Then it is our responsibility to help you get the birth certificate and also the passport afterwards. If you guys want, we can even help find a nanny to help you take care of your babies before you return home, because it can be very stressful the first few days or the first few weeks, especially as new parents. So our job is to be your guide, to hold you by the hand, and to walk you through the entire process. So what I wanted to do was to open it up for questions to address kind of what we do specifically, which is very different from most clinics where you're dealing with a whole patchwork of different providers, from the MD to the donor agency to the surrogacy agency to all the various lawyers. And I think what we wanted to do was to streamline it so that you can have not only a good outcome, but again, a very positive experience. So please, do you guys have any questions or concerns?
Considering the fermented eggs, there's frozen and fresh eggs, right? So which one will you recommend? And what's the going count?
So the question was the difference between frozen and fresh eggs, and what do I recommend? So I think that's an excellent question. We do have both frozen eggs available as well as fresh egg donors available. And I think we have to be purpose-driven in terms of our decision-making process. So if I have a single person who wants to only have 1 or 2 children, then it's much more cost-effective to use frozen eggs. Frozen eggs, in our hands, do really well. So for every 8 eggs we use, we can expect anywhere from 2 to 4 good quality, A-grade, PGS-tested normal embryos. Okay. However, if I'm dealing with, let's say, 2 partners who want to split the eggs and fertilize them, then it may be better to do a fresh cycle. Or I have several clients that want to have, let's say, 2 boys and 2 girls, and they want to be able to guarantee that they'll have those options in the future. In that case, it would be better to do a fresh cycle. So I think that what we have to do is balance our desire for how many babies we want versus how much we want to spend.
How about cost? Is there any difference? Is there any cost difference between fresh eggs and
Yes, sir. There's a pretty big cost difference, because with the fresh eggs, you're pretty much paying for the entire treatment cycle yourself, versus the frozen eggs, you can share in that treatment cost with someone else.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think there's a question up here.
Hello，你好。据我了解，如果是宝宝出生以后，他可能需要将近1个月的时间，但是新生婴儿基本上没有什么道理经验。然后您刚才说可以，这个方面可以详细介绍一下，大概是什么样的细节？
baby is delivered within 1 month, if we're not experienced in looking after baby, we need to look for someone to help us out.
So the question is regarding,
Where and what's the cost of having a nanny?
so in terms of finding and helping you maintain a nanny in the U.S., most often you'll be able to return home within 2 to 3 weeks after the birth of the baby. You will not need to stay in the U.S. for months. And for the 2 weeks or so, it depends on if you have one baby or two. Do you want a nanny only 12 hours a day? Do you want two nannies to do 12-hour shifts, day or night? So all of that can be individually negotiated for you. Trudy, do you have an idea on the cost for a nanny for a week or two?
Nannies range when they have to come and stay with you for about 24 hours a day. Come and see you home, it's about $4,000 for the whole month.
So it's approximately $4,000 for the month. Okay. Any other questions or concerns, guys?
On that question, when the surrogates give a birth, I need to pay extra $4,000 to have a nanny.
Sure, it's just like anything else in life. So each service is extra. Let's say that you're adept at taking care of a baby, there's no reason for you to pay needlessly for a surrogate that you don't need.
But I need to wait till it's full down, right?
Yes. So many of our clients do not want a nanny to help them take care of their baby. They rather save the money. So we don't force them to have a nanny. Some of our clients would like to have help.
Or I can go to the U.S. Or I can go to the U.S. to play the nanny, right? So,
You will have to be in the U.S. when the
Yeah,
baby is
right.
born.
yeah.
So you have two options. You can take care of your baby,
Yes.
or if you want help, you can hire a nanny to take care of the baby for you. But what we would like to do is to be able to help you find a nanny where you don't have to do that on your own.
Okay, I see. Thank you.
His question was, can he bring a nanny from here to the United States?
Oh, yeah. You can also bring a nanny from Taiwan to the U.S. The main thing is the visa issues, but I think there's really no visa issue coming from Taiwan to the U.S. I know many parents bring their own parents or bring their sisters, bring other family members to help them because having a brand new baby can be very stressful. I can tell you that when my son was born, the first 2 weeks were a blur. I was up every 3 hours changing diapers, and it was a very, very difficult time. So if you can find help, it's definitely recommended. Do you guys have any other questions regarding IVF, PGS, egg donors, surrogates, surrogacy in Los Angeles or California? Yes, sir.
Tell a little bit about your affordable guarantee?
Sure. Because we have both in-house donors and in-house surrogates, and we very much believe in our IVF laboratory, we're able to offer you a guaranteed live birth program. And that means for one fee that you get guaranteed healthy baby or you get all your money back. And what was probably about 4 or 5 years ago, we did not offer this because ASRM, American Society for Reproductive Medicine, said that it was perhaps unethical. The only people that would qualify for such a program did not deserve such a program, that they would be very successful. And then I had an agency that came to me and they wanted to be able to offer their patients such a program, and I did not know of an ethical way to determine the price. And what the gentleman said made a lot of sense. So he said if you take 10 clients and you factor all the various treatments that would be needed, so each one of them goes home with a healthy baby, you add it all up and you divide it by 10, and that's a very fair way. So you can call it shared risk, but we call it guaranteed live birth because for one price, you get to go home with a healthy baby. And it could be that you pay a few $1,000s more than if you were to do it without the guaranteed live birth, or it could be that you save some money as well. I'll give you a very quick example. We have a client from South Korea, and he came and he wanted to guarantee live birth of 2 boys, and he wanted 2 separate surrogates. So we went through the donor cycle, and when we tested all the embryos, there were only 2 boys. We put the first boy in the first surrogate, she got pregnant, and everything went well, and she delivered. The second surrogate got pregnant, but at 16 weeks, she got a very bad case of the flu, and she miscarried. So then we hired the donor again, did a second retrieval, made more embryos, tested them, got another boy, got a different surrogate because I don't use a surrogate that's miscarried in the second trimester another time. Then we put the boy in and everything worked out. But for Mr. Kim, he did not pay another cent. We took care of all of that. And so in that case, we lost money. But for him, it was the promise that we made that you'll have 2 boys, and that's what we're committed to honoring.
OK，还有一个问题呢，就是关于比如说我是想要个男孩子，但是我可能第一个思考是第一个周期，这个测试不对应，或者相反这种情况，如果是这种情况的话，我觉得在现实中会遇到很多。
Okay, suppose I want a boy, but okay, during all the cycle you only get girl, or vice versa. Has this situation come up quite frequently?
No, it is an uncommon situation, but it has come up before. But let's say if you were in the guaranteed live birth program for a boy, then it would be our responsibility to make more eggs, to make more embryos until we get a boy and a live birth of a boy. So that's, again, the commitment to you. So you can either take the risk yourself, and the likelihood of getting only girls is very small, but if you don't want to take any risk, then you can pass the risk on to us.
Hello, sir. I have 2 questions. The first one is, does the guarantee fee means that there won't be any additional fee once I know how much the whole budget I want to give you, including a donor, surrogacy, and the hospital embryo transfer, etc. That's all. The second one is, how can we know the baby is healthy? About how long? I don't know how can we
Okay.
avoid the child with disease?
Sure. I think I'm running out of time, so this will be the last 2 questions. So the first is about the cost associated with. So the cost includes a donor, includes a surrogate, includes the legal fees, all of the fees. There are some very, very rare costs. So like if the surrogate loses her organs, that we don't include in the packet because it would be an unfair addition because it's so exceedingly rare. But the maximum is about $10,000 on those. But everything else is included. The second question is, how do we assure you a healthy baby? So the first is that we do genetic testing on you, we do genetic testing on the surrogate, and then we do genetic testing on the embryo. The most advanced testing possible on the planet. But even then, there's no guarantee. Just like when I fly home, there's no guarantee I will make it. So we all take on a certain amount of risk. So every baby that's born has about a 2.5% chance of a congenital anomaly, but the vast majority are treatable. But we never know. You know, there's some developmental issues that might not come up till 7 or 8 years of age. So when we have a baby, there's always a slight amount of risk that we take. Okay? Guys, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.